My name is John Riley. I'm a teacher and I live in Bucharest, Romania. I think my first memory is my brother, who is about sort of 7 years older than me, chasing me through the hall and me running face first into my crib and, you know, just smashing my face up pretty badly and then howling, and my brother kind of sliding out the side and pretending he had nothing to do with it. I'm British, obviously, and I'm from a county called Lincolnshire, which is a pretty obscure corner of England, very rural, next to the sea, very quiet, very small village, you know, perhaps 200, 300 people, something like that. You know, post office lady, knows everybody, spreads the gossip. Boring place though, extremely boring. For many years I worked in film and media, and in the last few years I made a big switch and started teaching. So I teach kids aged 9 to 14, I teach science, and I also teach theatre, and I teach invention and some language arts. The World Peace Game is something started by, like, in my life, I think I've met two amazing people. The first one was Francis Ford Coppola, and the second one was the guy that invented the World Peace Game, who is an American educator from Philadelphia, who started this thing in the 70s, which was for gifted children, and it's basically a very detailed simulation of modern world problems: refugees, environmental war, you know, starvation, this kind of thing, modelled in a very elaborate way, actually. And so he just did this thing for about 25 years, and then somebody made a documentary about it, and the documentary was a huge hit. He spoke on TED, and now it's a kind of small movement around the world to spread this game around the world. And I did a training with him in September, and in February I played the game with the kids for the first time. They just took it so seriously and they engaged with it so 120%, and it makes you wonder why adults don't engage with things that much, and why can I say fuck? Why the fuck the world's in such a mess it is, because if we put those kids in charge of the world, it wouldn't be a mess. I'm serious, you know. Honestly, I was looking at them, I'm thinking, next company I start, I'm going to put these guys in charge of it, you know. I'm not going to hire a bunch of 25-year-olds with all their prejudices intact and their expectations too high. Just hire some 12-year-olds and let them solve it, you know. I mean, I really felt like that. Puțin, vorbesc, înțeleg toate, dar gramatica e un pic dificil pentru mine. Vorbesc. Deliberately making myself more stupid in what I say than I am if I speak English, because everybody can understand English, so I'm with a natural advantage there. Whereas when I start speaking Romanian, I sound like a fucking idiot, you know, and people are like, I mean, I've had so many people go to me, no, don't do it. I don't know. I mean, the humour, one of the reasons why I stayed here so long and why I like it so much here is because I think that there's a great dark humour here and a great willingness to laugh at the things when they're the worst, you know. Now, I guess that the linguistic play gets lost in translation because there's many words that have double meanings, and, you know, you do double entendres and you do irony with a word that means another word, so that definitely gets lost. But it's not lost completely because you have the same thing in English, so it's like, okay, if somebody explains it to me, I get it, you know. I'm just a funny person, so it's nice to make people laugh, no? Yeah.
But S03 didn't start as a comedy.
It started as an agency, but we immediately started doing comedy when we started it. So it just seemed like that's one of the universal constants, really, that you can reach people with. And it seemed like, to me at the time, when you looked on TV, you had La Bloc and I don't know, what was that? Transnistrian NATO, is that what it was called? It was the worst kind of comedy, really, at that point. I guess it started out good, but, you know, really, really, really shitty comedy. And then you see the people and you talk to the people and they're making multi-level ironic jokes. And you're like going, well, there's a bit of a distance there between how people are and what they see on TV. So we sort of thought, well, let's try and do something a bit more underground, you know. And this was before anybody did anything like that, before all the stand-ups, just when they were starting. And so it just seemed like a good niche to fill, really. I don't know, actually, I don't know. There was no moment where it was like, okay, I'm going to stay here for a long time. You know, it wasn't like a decision like that. It just happened that it happened like that. Like most people's lives happen like that, I think. And I always liked it here. I like the people very much. I love the people here. Okay, so you have a lot of other problems, you know. But everywhere has problems and everywhere has something that pisses you off, you know. So rather than focus on the things that piss you off, you try to take the good things, you know. So that happened to me long enough that I became very comfortable here, and I just don't feel like any stress living here at all, you know. Even when it is completely absurd, it still makes me laugh at the absurdities of living here. Yeah, like the thing where they put branches in the holes in the road, you know, like there's a hole in the road and there's just a tree there. It's just like, what the fuck is that? I don't think they do that in India. Even in India they put a sign there or something like that. Here they just put a tree in the middle of the road, so you know there's a hole in the road. Watch out, that tree. Oh, okay, it's just in the middle of the road. Well, home is here. Yeah. I suppose it's wishing you were somewhere else and feeling sick because you're not in that place. I don't know. If you're happy, you got to be happy where you are, not where you were. That's pointless, you know. Almost everything. You know, Newton said at the end of his life that he felt like a guy that had picked up some interesting shells on the beach, but the great sea of ignorance was still in front of him, you know. Drinking beer is one of my superpowers. That's a very strong superpower I have. I don't break my word to people. Ever, even if it's strictly, you know, even if it seriously inconveniences me. I'm pretty funny, and I get on very well with people. You know, I give time to people, and kids love me. I mean, it's really weird. It's really, really weird, and a lot of people say that's my superpower. You know, because if you look at me and you'd go, well, okay, you know, he looks a bit odd or maybe a bit frightening in some situations, you know. But in a room, the kids will just come to me, you know, and we'll start having a conversation, or we'll start fucking about, or we'll start playing with something without me doing anything, or without me. They just know. It's like, I don't know, I must smell like kid-friendly or something like that. But as you get older, you just get more like, well, it's just going to work out like it works out, isn't it? Things are going to be what they are, and you just got to deal with it as it happens. So advanced planning is good, but over advanced planning is just a waste of your time and mental energy, you know, because we spend so much time living like, what's going to happen tomorrow, and why did I do that yesterday? And really that's stupid, because we don't live in tomorrow or yesterday, we live right now. So it's better to try to take things, you know, to try to cultivate a kind of, what's the word? A sort of phlegmatism about what life's throwing at you, you know? It's good, it's bad, we just deal with it as we can, you know? I'm not going to jump off a building because something bad happened, and I'm not going to, you know, start waving balloons because something good happened, because this is the way it is. This is life, you know?